Chapter 1. Why positivity is not weakness. We are often told that positivity means smiling through pain, that it means pretending everything is fine when it clearly isn't, that to be positive, we must ignore grief, silence anger, and suppress fear. But the Stoics never taught that. True positivity, in the Stoic sense, is not softness. It is not denial. It is not naive optimism that hopes life will be kind. Positivity is strength. It is the quiet decision to remain steady when life refuses to be gentle. The lie of modern positivity. Much of what we call positivity today is fragile. It collapses the moment life becomes difficult. We tell people, stay positive. Everything happened for a reason. Just think happy thoughts. But these words often land like insults to someone who is hurting, because pain does not disappear when it is ignored. It only goes underground, where it grows louder. The Stoics understood this deeply. They never asked you to deny suffering. They asked you to meet it honestly, to look at reality as it is, without exaggeration, without despair, and without fantasy. That is where true positivity begins. Positivity as inner stability. To a Stoic, positivity is not an emotion. It is a stance, a way of standing in the world. It is the ability to say, this is hard, this hurts, but I will not break. Not because you are fearless, but because you are grounded. When Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself during war, illness, and political pressure, his words were not cheerful. They were clear. He reminded himself that hardship was not an exception. It was part of life's design. And once you stop arguing with reality, something powerful happens. Your energy returns. Why denial weakens the mind? When we deny pain, we create inner conflict. One part of us knows the truth. Another part insists on pretending. This inner split drains strength. Stoic positivity refuses this split. It says, feel what you feel, but don't let it rule you. You can acknowledge sadness without drowning in it. You can recognize fear without obeying it. You can feel anger without becoming it. This is not repression. This is mastery. Strength is the ability to endure without bitterness. The Stoics believe that bitterness is more destructive than hardship itself. Two people can face the same loss. One becomes bitter. The other becomes wiser. The difference is not luck. It is interpretation. Stoic positivity trains a mind to ask, what is being asked of me here? Instead of, why is this happening to me? That shift alone changes everything. The calm that cannot be taken. When positivity is rooted in discipline, it cannot be stolen. Not by insults, not by setbacks, not by uncertainty. Because it does not depend on outcomes. It depends on character. The Stoics believed that the only true good was a good mind. A mind that remains calm, clear, and ethical regardless of circumstance. This kind of positivity does not shout. It does not prove itself. It simply endures. why this matters today. We live in an age of constant stimulation, endless opinions, endless comparisons, endless reasons to feel inadequate or anxious. In such a world, positivity is often mistaken for weakness. But the person who remains steady while others panic, that person holds real power. The person who chooses clarity over chaos, that person becomes dangerous in the best way. Stoic positivity is not about feeling good. It is about being unshakable. A quiet invitation. This chapter is not asking you to change how you feel. It is asking you to change how you stand. To stop fighting reality. To stop resenting what cannot be changed. To stop demanding that life be easier. And instead, to become stronger, not louder, not harder, but steadier. Because the strongest form of positivity is not optimism. It is acceptance without surrender. Chapter 2. Seeing reality clearly without losing hope. There's a quiet strength in seeing things as they are. Not worse than they are, not better than they are, simply as they are. Most suffering does not come from reality itself. It comes from the stories we tell about reality. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology put words to it. They saw that the mind does not just experience life, it interprets it. And interpretation is where peace is either born or destroyed. Why clarity is the beginning of positivity. Many people believe positivity requires hope. The Stoics believed it required clarity. Hope without clarity becomes illusion. Clarity without hope becomes despair. Stoicism stands in the middle. It teaches you to see life honestly, without romance, without exaggeration, without fear. When you see clearly, you stop wasting energy on what never existed. Imagine futures, exaggerated threats, borrowed anxieties, expectations that were never promised. And when that wasted energy returns to you, something changes. You feel lighter, not because life is easier, but because your mind is no longer fighting shadows. The Stoic refusal to lie to oneself. The Stoics had no interest in comforting lies. They believed self-deception was more dangerous than bad luck. If something is painful, call it painful. If something is uncertain, call uncertain. If something is lost, admit it is gone. Why? Because truth stabilizes the mind. Lies, even pleasant ones, create anxiety. They must be maintained, defended, protected. Truth requires nothing. It simply is. And when the mind rests on truth, it stops trembling. A more fatty, loving what is. One of the most misunderstood Stoic ideas is a more fatty, love of fate. This does not mean liking everything that happens. It means not rejecting reality. There's a profound difference. To reject reality is to live in constant resistance. To accept reality is to free your energy for what matters. The Stoic says, "This is what is happening. Now, how shall I meet it?" That question is powerful. It returns agency to you. Hope without attachment. Stoicism does not kill hope. It purifies it. Hope becomes dangerous when it demands outcomes. When it says, I can only be at peace if this goes my way. The Stoic version of hope is quieter. It says, I will act with integrity. I will prepare carefully, and I will accept whatever follows. This is not resignation. It is maturity. A mind that can hope without clinging is a mind that cannot be broken by disappointment. Why overthinking thrives on unclear thinking. When reality is unclear, the mind fills a gap with fear, with worst-case scenarios, with endless rehearsal of pain that hasn't arrived. Overthinking is not a sign of intelligence. It is a sign of lack of clarity. The Stoics trained themselves to ask, what do I know for certain right now? Not tomorrow, not next year, not what if. Right now. That question alone cuts anxiety in half. Seeing limits without losing dignity. Clarity also means recognizing limits. You are not all-powerful. You cannot control outcomes. You cannot protect yourself from all loss. The Stoics found peace not by denying this, but by embracing it. There is dignity in knowing where your power ends. When you stop demanding control over the uncontrollable, you reclaim control over yourself. And that is enough. The warmth that comes from acceptance. Acceptance is often mistaken for coldness, but real acceptance is warm. It softens the inner struggle. It quiets the constant argument with life. When you stop fighting what is, you create space for meaning, not because life becomes fair, but because you become present. And presence is where calm lives. A Stoic reflection. Ask yourself gently, where am I resisting reality right now? What am I demanding life to be instead of what it is? What truth have I been avoiding because it feels uncomfortable? There is no shame in these questions, only freedom, because the moment you stop lying to yourself, your mind begins to rest. Closing thought. Stoic positivity does not blind you. It steadies you. It does not promise happiness. It offers clarity. And clarity is the soil in which calm, resilience, and quiet hope grow naturally. Chapter 3. Mastering what is yours, releasing what is not. Peace does not come from controlling life. It comes from knowing where your control ends. This single insight sits at the heart of Stoicism. It is simple, it is uncomfortable, and it is transformative. Most inner conflict is caused by misplaced effort. Try to manage what was never ours to command. The Stoics chose another way. The Great Divide. What is in your control? Epictetus began his teachings with a clear line. Some things are up to us. Some things are not. That line, once truly understood, dissolves anxiety. What is in your control? Your judgments, your intentions, your actions, your values, your response. What is not? Outcomes, other people's opinions, luck, timing, the past. Positivity, in the Stoic sense, begins when you stop confusing the two. Why positivity fails without discipline. Modern positivity says, believe everything will work out. Stoic positivity says, do your part and release the rest. One is fragile, the other is unbreakable. When positivity depends on outcomes, it collapses under pressure. When it depends on character, it endures. The Stoic trains the mind to care deeply about effort and lightly about results. This creates calm even in uncertainty. The trap of outcome addiction. The mind loves certainty. It wants guarantees. It wants control. But life does not negotiate. When you tie your peace to outcomes, you give your peace away. Every delay becomes torture. Every obstacle feels personal. The Stoics saw this clearly. They did not ask, will this succeed? They asked, is this the right action? That question returns power to the present moment, where action is possible. Inner control is not passivity. Releasing control does not mean doing nothing. It means doing the right thing for the right reason, without demanding applause or success. A Stoic acts with care, with preparation, with discipline. Then let's go. This is not weakness. It is strength refined. How control fuels overthinking. Overthinking is a mind's attempt to predict and dominate the future. But the future resists domination. The Stoics responded with a simple practice. Focus on the next right action, not the entire journey, not every possible consequence, just the next step. This grounds the mind. It quiets the noise. Freedom is found in voluntary release. There is a strange freedom in saying, this is not mind control. You stop carrying weight that was never yours. When someone misunderstands you, you respond with integrity, not obsession. When plans fall apart, you adjust without resentment. When effort goes unnoticed, you keep your standards intact. This is inner independence. The Stoic version of confidence. Confidence is not believing nothing will go wrong. It is knowing you can meet whatever comes without betraying your values. That confidence cannot be taken away, because it is not tied to circumstance. The Stoic is not fearless. They are prepared. A practical Stoic exercise. When anxiety rises, ask, what exactly am I trying to control? Is it truly within my power? If not, what is within my power right now? Then act only on that. Repeat this enough times, and the mind learns where to rest. Closing thought. You do not need control life to live well. You need to control your relationship with life. That is where Stoic positivity lives. Steady, grounded, and unshakable. Chapter 4. Turning adversity into inner strength. Life does not break people. Resistance to life does. The Stoics never asked for an easy path. They asked for a stronger mind. Adversity was not something to be avoided. It was something to be used. This chapter reveals how Stoic positivity transforms hardship into discipline, depth, and quiet power. Why adversity is not the enemy. Most suffering comes from belief. This should not be happening to me. The Stoics rejected this illusion. They understood struggle is natural. Obstacles are inevitable. Pain is part of growth. Adversity is not a punishment. It is a condition of being alive. Once this is accepted, the mind stops wasting energy on resentment and begins converting difficulty into strength. The Stoic reframe obstacle as training. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The obstacle in the path becomes the path." This is not poetic optimism. It is practical psychology. Every hardship contains a skill to be developed. Patience, endurance, courage, self-command. The Stoic does not ask, "How do I escape this?" They ask, "What is this teaching me to master?" Hardship reveals character. Comfort hides weakness. Adversity exposes it. But exposure is not condemnation. It is opportunity. Under pressure, you discover where you overreact, where fear controls you, where discipline is missing. The Stoic welcomes this information. It shows exactly where work is needed. Strength begins with honesty. Why positivity without hardship is fragile. Anyone can feel positive when life is easy. True positivity is tested under weight. Stoic positivity is not cheerful denial. It is calm acceptance paired with determined action. It says, "This is difficult, but I will not be diminished by it." That mindset outlasts pain. Voluntary discomfort. Training before the storm. The Stoics practice discomfort on purpose. Cold, hunger, silence, simplicity. Not to suffer, but to remember they could endure. When you occasionally step away from comfort, you build confidence in your resilience. Adversity loses its power to intimidate you. Emotional hardship and inner control. Painful emotions are inevitable. Suffering from them is optional. The Stoic does not suppress emotion. They examine it. They ask, what judgment is fueling this pain? Is it accurate? Is it useful? This turns emotion from enemy to instructor. Why struggle refines purpose. Hard times clarify what matters. When life strips away comfort, only values remain. Adversity reveals who you truly respect, what you are willing to endure for, which desires are superficial. This clarity is a gift, even when it arrives wrapped in difficulty. The quiet power of endurance. Endurance is invisible strength. It does not shout. It does not seek validation. It simply remains. The Stoic does not measure success by comfort, but by consistency. Can you remain grounded when circumstances are not? That is power. A Stoic practice for adversity. When facing hardship, repeat, "This is training." Then ask, What virtue is being asked me here? How can I respond with discipline? What will my best self do right now? Answer with action. Closing thought. Adversity is not something to fear. It is the forge that shapes strength, the teacher that sharpens wisdom, and the test that reveals character. The Stoic does not escape difficulty. They grow through it. Chapter 5. Positive thinking versus powerful thinking. Not all positivity creates strength. Some forms weaken you. The Stoics understood a truth modern motivation often ignores. Feeling good is not the goal. Becoming strong is. This chapter draws a clear line between shallow optimism and Stoic positivity that endures pressure. The problem with just be positive. Blind positivity avoids reality. It says, everything happens for a reason. Just stay happy. Ignore the negative. The Stoics rejected this. Why? Because ignoring reality does not make you resilient. It makes you fragile. Stoic positivity begins with truth, not comfort. Powerful thinking starts with acceptance. Before strength, there is acceptance. Acceptance does not mean liking reality. It means seeing it clearly. Epictetus taught, do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish for them to happen as they do. This removes inner resistance, the real source of suffering. Once resistance ends, clarity begins. Optimism without control is weak. Hope alone is not a strategy. Stoic thinkers focused on control. They asked, what is within my power? What is not? True positivity comes from directing energy only toward what you can influence. This creates calm, focus, and forward motion. Why Stoic positivity is calm, not loud. Loud positivity demands attention. Quiet strength does not. The Stoic does not need constant reassurance. Their confidence comes from discipline. They know they can endure discomfort. They can regulate emotion. They can act wisely under pressure. That certainty is peace. Positive thinking builds mood. Powerful thinking builds identity. Mood changes. Identity lasts. Stoic positivity is rooted in identity. I am someone who responds with reason. This mindset is stable even in chaos. When external happiness fades, inner order remains. Facing negative thoughts without fear. The Stoic does not fight thoughts. They observe them. A negative thought is not a command. It is a suggestion. By creating distance, you regain authority. This alone reduces anxiety. Why hard truths strengthen the mind? Truth may feel heavy, but it frees energy. False comfort demands maintenance. Truth stands on its own. The Stoic chooses clarity over illusion, strength over softness, peace over pleasure. Stoic reframing in practice. Instead of, this is unfair, try, this is reality, what is my best response? Instead of, I can't handle this, Try. I will handle this step by step. Language shapes perception. Perception shapes behavior. A daily Stoic exercise. Each night, ask, where did I resist reality today? Where did I accept it? Where did I act with reason instead of emotion? This reflection builds powerful thinking over time. Closing thought. Positivity without truth is weakness. Stoic positivity is strength with clarity. It does not deny hardship. It faces it with calm discipline. That is why it lasts. Chapter 6. Discipline, the engine of Stoic positivity. Positivity without discipline fades. Discipline without positivity becomes harsh. The Stoics united both, and that union created unshakable strength. This chapter reveals why discipline is a hidden source of lasting optimism. Why discipline comes before motivation. Motivation depends on emotion. Discipline depends on choice. The Stoic does not wait to feel ready. They act because it is right. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you'll find strength." Discipline trains the mind to act even when positivity is absent. Discipline creates self-trust. Every kept promise strengthens identity. Every broken promise weakens it. Stoics understood self-trust is the deepest form of confidence. When you trust yourself, fear loses power. This is why disciplined people are calm. Why Stoic positivity is earned. False positivity is free. True positivity is earned. It comes from showing up when tired, choosing restraint when tempted, remaining calm when provoked. Each act deposits confidence into the mind. This is emotional wealth. Small disciplines, massive impact. The Stoics favored daily microdiscipline. Waking early, cold exposure, simple food, focused study, physical movement, not for punishment, but to remove dependence on comfort. Comfort weakens. Adaptability strengthens. Discipline reduces overthinking. Overthinking thrives in inaction. Discipline cuts thought loops with action. When the body moves, the mind follows. This is why Stoics emphasize routine. The Stoic rule: control the first action. You cannot control first thoughts. You can control first actions. Discipline targets behavior, not emotion. Once behavior aligns, emotion follows naturally. Training for difficulty before it arrives. The Stoics practice voluntary discomfort. Why? Because adversity feels less frightening when you have already rehearsed discomfort. This creates calm confidence. Discipline protects positivity. Without discipline, positivity collapses under pressure. With discipline, positivity becomes quiet certainty. The Stoic does not hope to endure. They know they can. Each day choose one difficult task, one restraint, one moment of silence. These small acts build an unbreakable inner posture. Discipline is not restriction. It is freedom from inner chaos. And freedom is the highest form of positivity. Chapter 7. Positivity in the face of loss and failure. Life is unpredictable. Loss arrives. Failure knocks at your door. Most people let it break them. The Stoics teach a different path. Face adversity with steady inner light. This chapter explores how Stoic positivity is tested and strengthened through hardship. Why loss feels devastating. We attach identity to relationships, achievements, possessions, reputation. When they are taken, we feel empty. The Stoics remind us, external things do not touch the soul unless you let them. Positivity is not avoiding grief. It is mastering response. Failure is not the end. Stoics see failure as feedback, not punishment. Epictetus wrote, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." Failure uncovers weaknesses to strengthen, habits to improve, opportunities previously invisible. Stoic positivity reframes failure as a teacher, not a tormentor. Loss is a teacher. When a bond breaks or an opportunity fades, ask, what is beyond my control? What remains within my power? How can I act with reason and virtue? Answering these questions channels grief into wisdom. The power of perspective. Marcus Aurelius practiced daily reflection. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Your perception shapes reality. Loss is painful, but seeing it through the lens of growth, rather than defeat, preserves positivity. Stoic positivity versus denial. Ignoring pain is not positivity. Suppressing grief is not strength. Stoic positivity accepts reality. It feels loss deeply, then acts with calm and purpose. This is a distinction between enduring and escaping. Resilience through practice. Daily practices protect against despair. Journaling thoughts, examining judgments, visualizing impermanence, reminding yourself of past endurance. The mind trained in resilience navigates loss without losing balance. Failure strengthens character. Repeated challenges reveal your true self. Do you respond with resentment, despair, wisdom, patience? Stoic positivity is character forged in fire, not comfort. Cultivating equanimity. Equanimity is unshakable calm. It does not depend on circumstances. Through reflection and discipline, accept what is. Act on what you can control. Release what you cannot. The Stoic mind remains unbroken. When facing loss or failure, practice. Pause and breathe. Identify what is within your control. Accept what is not. Choose a reasoned action. Reflect nightly on lessons learned. These steps cultivate enduring positivity. Positivity is not the absence of pain. It is the ability to stand strong, see clearly, and act wisely, even when life is harsh. This is the Stoic secret. Your inner light cannot be extinguished by external darkness. Chapter 8. Gratitude, the silent strength of the Stoic mind. Gratitude is quiet. It does not announce itself. It does not demand applause. Yet in Stoic philosophy, gratitude is one of the most powerful forces for positivity. This chapter explores how gratitude transforms the way you see life, especially during hardship, and why the Stoics considered it a daily discipline, not a fleeting emotion. Why gratitude is rare. Most people live in anticipation, waiting for more, chasing improvement, fearing loss. The mind becomes restless, always leaning toward the future. The Stoics bring us back to what is already here. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon the chief of the blessings you do possess." Gratitude grounds a mind in reality. Gratitude versus desire. Desire says, "I will be happy when." Gratitude says, "I am already enough." Stoic positivity does not reject ambition. It prevents ambition from becoming suffering. Gratitude reminds you, life is fragile. Nothing is guaranteed. This moment matters. Negative visualization. Gratitude through awareness. One Stoic practice is premeditatio malorum, imagining loss. Not to create fear, but to awaken appreciation. When you imagine losing health, losing loved ones, losing comfort, you return to the present with renewed gratitude. This practice transforms ordinary moments into blessings. Gratitude in adversity. Stoic gratitude is not dependent on comfort. Even in hardship, you can be grateful for endurance, lessons, inner strength, time itself. Epictetus said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do." This is gratitude aligned with acceptance. The discipline of daily gratitude. Gratitude is not accidental. It is trained. Stoic practices include morning reflection on what you have, evening reflection on what taught you, acceptance of impermanence. Over time, the mind shifts from scarcity to sufficiency. Why gratitude strengthens positivity. A grateful mind resists bitterness, reduces anxiety, increases emotional stability, strengthens resilience. Positivity rooted in gratitude is calm and durable, not fragile or forced. Gratitude and inner freedom. When you appreciate what cannot be taken from you, your values, your reasoning, your character, external loss loses its power. This is Stoic freedom. Nothing outside controls your inner state. A simple Stoic gratitude exercise. At the end of each day, ask, what sustained me today? What lesson did I receive? What did I endure well? Gratitude turns experience into wisdom. Gratitude is not optimism. It is realism with humility. When you appreciate what is, life stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like a responsibility, one you are strong enough to carry. The Stoic power of positivity. There will be days when the world feels heavy, when your thoughts turn against you, when progress feels invisible. On those days, remember this: life was never meant to be easy. It was meant to be lived with strength. The Stoics never promised happiness without struggle. They promised something greater: peace that survives hardship. You cannot control the world. You cannot control time. You cannot control loss. But you can control how you stand when life presses down on you. Positivity is not pretending everything is fine. It is choosing calm in chaos, meaning in suffering, clarity in confusion. Every moment asks the same quiet question: will you resist reality, or will you rise within it? When you stop fighting what you cannot change, your energy returns to what truly matters: your character, your choices, your inner strength. This is the Stoic way: to move forward without bitterness, to endure without complaint, to grow without arrogance. And when the noise of the world grows loud, return to stillness, because nothing outside you has the power to break the mind that is disciplined, the heart that is grateful, and the soul that is steady. Walk forward, not with fear, not with anger, but with quiet confidence. You are stronger than you think, calmer than you believe, and capable of far more than you've been told. This is the power of positivity, the Stoic way.